Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Frank Atwood, and I'm doing a series of videos on moving to Maine, and we're going to get started right after this. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 challenges to moving to Maine. Starting with number 5, the lack of apartments or homes to buy here in Maine. Jobs are not an issue right now, so you're probably asking yourself, how do I make this transition to Maine, right? Well, if you're looking to rent an apartment, I would say go on to that app, apartments.com. I think it's this thing here. The one that Jeff Goldblum's always advertising on TV, right? I'd say use that app. Now, I don't personally know anything about apartment life. I haven't lived in an apartment over 20 years. I'm probably not the best person to talk about apartments. However, find an apartment, come up here for a weekend, go check out the apartment and the surrounding area. Don't take some of those TV show advice, all right? There's a show called 207 Maine, and they just recently did a piece on the waterfront, Augusta, how they renovated all the apartments along the waterfront on Water Street. Water Street happens to be a big Section 8 tenancy street, and I know because I stopped there on the way back from an appointment, and the school bus is letting out like 30 kids, and all these people come out of these apartments right there, and they're pretty rough, all right? So, like I said, come up here and physically check it out. Okay. Also, speaking of buyers, if you're ready to buy a house up here because you've been looking on realtor.com, make certain you order the appraisal as soon as you write an offer on that house. All right. It's going to take you between an average of 6 to 8 weeks in order to get an appraisal, which is number 4, the lack of real estate appraisers in the state of Maine. If that happens to be your profession, you're going to make bank up here, all right? As for the rest of us, put a house under contract, get it locked, get your interest rate locked, order your appraisal. Our appraisal took right up until the day of closing, and we closed on December 17th in the middle of a snowstorm. Yeah, it was that bad. Nothing was convenient. The best thing that came out of that was obviously we got the house, and Rob, from Academy Mortgage, my mortgage broker, he actually came up to the house, waited for me to feed the family, come back up to the house because we're still in the hotel, and he helped me unload all the heavy stuff out of it into my garage or into the house. And this guy lives 2.5 hours north up in Bangor, so big shout out to Rob. I'll list his details right here. Rob from Academy Mortgage, absolutely awesome. Academy is a direct lender, so what that means is the branch and the regional offices, they're equipped to complete your loan process in-house. All the loan processing, underwriting, closing, the funding, it's all handled locally. As a result, I got a proven track record for closing loans as quickly and easily, all right? And Rob's awesome. He kept us in the loop the entire time. Any step, the next step in the process, he was always calling or texting. Super guy, and he helped me move in. Not saying he's gonna do that for everyone. I'm from here. I'm a local boy, so, you know, he's kind of helped me move back home, basically. No, it's not my mother's house, it's my house. I bought it. You want to plan for contingencies. This is one of the biggest things that people fail to do. If you're staying in a hotel up here and you're waiting to close, be absolutely certain you keep the hotel in the loop, okay? Especially if it's summertime, because it's tourist season and hotels are, you know, hey, oh yeah, I think these people are checking out on this day. If you're not actually going to be able to check out, make certain you say, hey, we're going to be here for another week or so. Give yourself the leeway. Give yourself the room. If the broker tells you, the other broker said we can't get together until this day because they have an appointment or something, and oh, we can't do it for 3 days, ask for a week. Make certain you let the hotel know we're going to be here another week. That way they know your room is off limits and they won't go ahead and rent it over the phone, and then you're going to be homeless, all right? So to prevent yourself from being homeless, make certain you keep the hotel in the loop so that you're good to go. Be careful what you tell the front desk. You don't want to be homeless, all right? On a side note, VA loans. Some of you are veterans like myself, and you're thinking, oh, I'll get my VA loan, no points, very little closing costs because I'm 100% or whatever. VA loans take forever to process up here. And that's the God's honest truth. I was going to do a VA loan to buy this place, but everybody told me, even Rob, hey dude, it takes like 90 days to do a VA loan in Maine. They got to get their own appraisers. Once again, there's a shortage. COVID season was happening. Best thing to do is do like I did. I got an FHA and I'm getting ready to refinance this with a VA loan because there's no points, no mortgage insurance premium, no PMI, whatever. So I don't have to have private mortgage insurance, all that crap. And that just saves you a little bit of money off of your monthly payment. Plus, if you get a better interest rate, even more money saved, right? I use my house as a real world example because some of you are looking at Realtor.com and you're getting big eyes and you're like, oh my God, such a beautiful house. Oh, we can afford that payment. The payments on Realtor.com are estimates. They are not even close, all right? They're probably off by like $500 to $800, something like that, maybe $1,000. That's designed to get you in the buying, pick up the motivation, right? It's advertising, but it's false advertising. This house here, we put under contract for $345. We put $20K down, all right, because we sold our other house, had $100K to put down. We didn't put that much down. We paid a bunch of crap off. We put 20 down, and I financed $325. Okay, our payment I think is $23.35 or $23.25, something like that every month. So, yeah, so for $325,000, we're paying almost $2,400 a month. All right, that's a good estimate, a good ballpark figure. So if you're buying a house that's less than this, you can go down from there and say, okay, yeah, we can afford that. If you can afford $2,500 a month for a house payment, and you see how much it is, if the house is less than $300,000, you're probably going to be fine. You're probably paying like $15 or $1,000 or whatever. It all depends, okay? But don't go off of the estimates you find on Realtor.com. They're unrealistic, all right? They're unrealistic, and you don't want to take and give yourself a sense of false hope. So don't go off of that, and you'll be just fine, okay? And wait to do a VA loan. Wait till you're actually in the place. Then you have time on your side, and it's just paperwork. You're not having to move anywhere. You're not having to jump through hoops. You don't have to book a hotel room. You're living where you want to be, and time is on your side, okay? Which brings me to number 3. Most people don't know where they want to live. That's one of the big things. They don't know where they want to live. Oh, Maine is beautiful, but we're not really sure where we want to live. We visited there once, or we've never been there, but it's always been on our bucket list, right? That's cool. But most people, when they come to Maine, they stop at Portland. Portland is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not really Maine. Most Mainers, they're like, yeah, Portland, whatever. Come further north. Some of the better places to live are going to be along the eastern seaboard, such as, Brunswick, Bath, Freeport, all them places. Don't go to Yarmouth. That's where the really rich live, or Kennebunkport. George Bush has a house down there. Unless you're affluent and you have lots and lots of money, I wouldn't waste my time there. I wouldn't buy something on the island of Islesboro where John Travolta has a house in Kirstie Alley. Once again, anything on the water is going to cost you more money. That's also the reason why my payment's so high, is because the taxes here are higher because I'm near the water. I'm in Wiscasset, so I'm near the water. You're going to pay more for something that's near the water. If you left Massachusetts or wherever for the politics or the agenda or the taxes, don't come up here and bring that crap with you, all right? Just leave all the bad juju behind. Come up here and make a fresh start. Live out in the woods. You hear the crickets behind me? I hear that every day. I love it, all right? Most people are up here, they want their peace and quiet. They want to spend time with their friends and family, and they're just not into politics or any other nonsense. We try and watch as little news up here as possible because it's all fake and it's all propaganda, trying to get you spun up so they can take more of your rights away. Anyway, so how do you figure out where you want to live? I find the best method of this. Now, I'm from here. I was a young man in my 20s. Before I joined the Army and did 21 years, I was in the Bath, Brunswick area, all right? I worked in several businesses up there. Most people know the businesses that I worked in, and therefore they know me by association. They're like, oh yeah, I remember that store, I remember this. Oh, you worked there? Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember going there 100 times. I probably saw you back then, whatever, all right? One of the best ways that you can do this, that you can find the place you want to live, is you can use Google Earth, you can use Google Maps, you can drop that little guy on the road and walk around. We did that for our house when we did Realtor.com so that we could actually see it. Now, the little guy would not come up the road because my road's a private road, but I could still use the Google Maps and the Google Earth and get a good, oh, that's the house, that's what it looks like. Oh, okay, I see the backyard, I see whatever they had taken from the satellite photos. That's what you see. This was kind of bought on sight unseen. I had my broker walk through with his cell phone. I think we did the FaceTime, right? You can do it with either Apple or Samsung has one too. And we did the FaceTime thing. He walked through the house And we got like a first-person view, as if it was a walkthrough thing with the camera, and then we just tell them turn left, turn right, or whatever, and hey, what's that down there, or what have you. You can do that too. There are realtors that will do that for you. I just added the Spectrum internet out here. The old lady had a dish on top up there. She was getting ripped off by Directway or whatever it was, paying like 150 bucks a month for 25 megabytes. My kid had a puck from Verizon that got 25 megabytes, and it was provided by the school for free. So yeah, we used the school internet for free. They did their homework, and then she would do a Zoom call or something. It was free, right? It's provided for by the school. Once we got our internet in, we give the puck back. We don't need it no more. We got our own internet. That also increases the value of the house because I got high-speed internet over 200 megabytes, all right? And if you work from home or you do videos and stuff like this, it comes in handy. But like I was saying, use Google Maps, use Google Earth. That way you get a feel for the area. You can have a little guy going and you look at the streets. You see a lot of rundown buildings. You see a lot of trash. You're like, not such a good place. Along the coastline, it's pretty good. There is a shortage of apartments, like I said, and a shortage of houses. But anywhere's along Route 1 or Route 27 north, going up towards Augusta, like Dresden, these smaller towns, they're farming communities and stuff like that, that's where I would live. Like if you put a pin in the map, a thumbtack, and say you're going to get a job at the post office. This is hypothetical, but wherever your job is, maybe you're going to work in the hospital in Brunswick. Put a pin in the map and then just use a piece of yarn and go out 20 miles. Just draw a big circle, make a 20-mile loop, and say that's where we need to find a house or an apartment. That's the best way to do it. Then you can go out there and look, and if you said, you know what, it's better if we buy, it's going to save us money over time, and I've always wanted to farm out in the woods, whatever. There's some beautiful farms out here off a mountain road where I live, or up there in Dresden. You'll find some small farmhouses. Maybe it only has a couple acres. Maybe the farmer had subdivided in the 70s or 80s or whatever, and they did that. But I find that if you rent in a smaller town, you're going to save way more money, all right? If you're in a big area like Brunswick. Brunswick has high taxes too. They have pretty high taxes. They got a lot of doctors, lawyers, dentists living there, especially the Baraboo Drive, if you look at that on Google Maps. Nice houses, but taxes, yeah. I'm living where I want to be. My parents are like 29 minutes up the road in Bowden, or Bodenham. So yeah, to me it was worth it. If you want to set up like this, you just got to look for it. Craigslist, there's people doing it for sale by owner stuff. I don't really know much about that. I don't really trust it. But one of the things you need to watch out for here, it's either going to be done by a contractor, like a reputable licensed contractor that builds houses all the time, or it's going to be done by an overnight wannabe contractor. My sister's house that she bought up there in Stetson, they had to spend $8,000 to have it rewired because it was done by a do-it-yourselfer, wasn't a licensed electrician, didn't meet code. They're pretty upset about it, but they didn't get a home inspection, so that's her fault. Get a home inspection. I don't care if it's $800. I think we paid 800 bucks or 650 or something like that. It was well worth it. We found out the roof needed to be replaced on the house. It's the original 20-year-old roof. Hey, I just shaved $8,000 off the price of the house by getting the roof redone. I get that knocked off the price, okay? So you never know what you're going to save. Number 2 is heat, right? I've got 2 Fat Boy tanks. I'll show you. I got those 2 Fat Boy tanks. They're 120-pound tanks. They only fill them up to 80% capacity. It's something to do with safety. You got to have 20% ballast in there, so for expansion or whatever, so that they don't explode or whatever. So that's 200 pounds of propane. I have 2 of those, right? I go through 200 pounds of propane because this is a forced hot water house. The heat is forced hot water. I've got a Bosch burner down there. It pumps water through, just like you have electric baseboard heat. This has baseboard, but it's water, hot water flowing through it like a giant radiator, circulating throughout the entire house on all 3 zones. I got one in the basement. The lines run through the center of the house and then at the top. So I go through 200 pounds of propane every 40 days, I believe it is, like 40 days. And average fill up every 20 to 25 days. If it's really cold outside, it might be 19 or 18 days because the temperature dips, you tend to have the heat on more and higher. House is pretty decent and insulation wise, but you know, we just came from Texas. Everybody was not used to being extreme cold. I love the cold. I grew up in this. It doesn't bother me. I'll sit out here like this in the middle of winter and smoke a cigarette or whatever and be cold. My wife's like, are you freezing? No. I'll be out here shoveling snow sometimes in a t-shirt. I grew up here. All right, I got thick blood. I love the cold. It makes me feel good. When I go to sleep, I want to be cold. When I was in Texas, AC was on 60, 65. I have to be cool. But heat is, it's essential up here. You need to always ask what type of heat source is available for the property, whether it be wood, forced hot water, which is run off the propane, or electric baseboard heat. Now, electric baseboard heat is not going to be as bad as you think. In some places, like Texas, it would kill you, because Texas, well, at least Georgetown where I was charging 24.8 cents a kilowatt. Here it's 8.3 cents, so a third of the price of what they charge in Texas. My August bill in Georgetown, because of the AC and stuff, was mainly electricity, and it was $588, and I think $60 of that was probably trash and sewer, and the rest of it was strictly electricity. So like 450 bucks worth was electricity. So I was like, this is ridiculous. My average bill here, now keep in mind there's 6 people living here, and my kids aren't very good at turning off lights and stuff, and I did replace all the light bulbs with the LED ones, so there's like a 60-watt bulb, but it's actually only 5 watts. So it's only consuming 5 watts, so it saves money. Average bill is 120 bucks a month. It has been higher because this summer the kids stayed up all night sometimes playing. You get into their games with their friends, and they forget to go to bed sometimes, and yeah. So I get upset with them over that, because I was like, I don't need my electric bill that high. But average about 100 to 120 bucks a month in the wintertime, which is cheap. If you have baseboard heat, it could be average of 200 or something like that. Just factor that in. Always ask what type of heat. If there's multiple sources, then you have a choice, all right? Or if the power goes down, I'd be screwed right now, because I got to get a generator. Father has a portable one I can borrow if I need to, but I want a whole house generator, like a Kohler, and it runs off of propane, so that I'll get a bigger tank so that I can run everything. And I'll have the generator runs off of propane, so it'll kick in if the power goes down, and we're good, all right? We've been lucky this past winter. When we first moved in, we didn't have a power outage. Thank God for that, all right? Hopefully it won't happen again, and we'll be good to go. Would you mind if I see the heating bill? You know, just something to take into consideration. Ask the broker. They'll get it for you, all right? And then you won't have to worry about it. It's very important that you do that, because I don't want to see anybody come up here and be like, you get in over your head because, oh, I didn't know that the price of propane was going to be so expensive. The average cost to fill those 2 tanks every 20 days was I think it was like, average of like $361.50 or something like that. So if I have to do every 40 days, roughly, so a month and a half, yeah, you're talking about 700 bucks, like every month and a half. That's kind of pricey. The number one thing that most people want to know about when moving to Maine is food costs, right? Now I've seen on some other channels and other blogs and stuff like that, people make, oh, it's so expensive, they truck everything up there, but they truck everything all over the country, okay? I don't know if you know this or not, but they truck your food in from different places. If it's not made in that state, it's trucked in. Walmart gets trucks all the time, so doesn't all your supermarkets. Take a look. Some of the stuff does come from your state. Most of it comes from other states, and it gets trucked in. As far as it being like, oh, food prices are astronomical, they're not. I don't know if you know this or not, but everything around the country is higher because of what happened with COVID, okay? So that's not accurate for someone to say, oh, it's so high up here. No, everything's higher because of the pandemic. Right now, we have 4 different grocery stores I can think of on the top of my head. You've got Hannaford's, you've got IGA, which is mainly family run. A lot of them are family run. Shaw's and Walmart, okay? I find that Shaw's has the highest prices out of all those grocery stores. They do have an app, they do have membership rewards and digital coupons and all that stuff. Sign up for it. I use the digital rewards from Shaw's because they have a partnership with our mobile station, and I've actually gotten super. It was $3.59. When you go to the pump, you put your loyalty number in. I rolled it back to $2.59. I had enough points to knock an entire $1 off per gallon, and I filled the car up that day. Remember I said that's the highest of the grocery stores. A steak at Shaw's on average, if you want a ribeye, which is what I like, because I was in Texas for 7 years, and I did a lot of barbecuing, a lot of steak. 1/2-inch cut, thick ribeye. At Shaw's, average of $16 to $22. All right, that's just for one. I did find a 4-pack at BJ's Wholesale, which is like Costco, or what's the other one, Sam's Club or something like that. I think they have Sam's up here as well. But we're a member of BJ's right now. Oh, there's the sun moving. Thank you, sun. So I'll put these up for now because the sun's on there and I want it to reflect and get all over you guys. So I bought a 4-pack at BJ's for $32. Same half-inch thick cut. You can buy a lot of your stuff there, like rice or beans or whatever you want to stock up in the pantry. Flour, sugar, salt, all that stuff, ketchup, mustard. Buy all that stuff at the wholesale place. You can get it in bulk and then store it, and your canned goods as well. You don't have to worry about running out of food. You don't have to worry about running to the store every 5 minutes. Buy your diapers and all that other stuff. Save yourself some money, all right? Hit the local farmers markets. If you make friends with some of the locals around here, they're going to give you vegetables. I have people trying to give me vegetables almost every day. And I love fresh vegetables. We've got squash, green beans, cucumbers, tomatoes. Oh, man, all that stuff. Daughter's just now getting into growing stuff. She's planted 3 apple trees. She's excited. Her strawberries are starting to come in. She's really excited about it. This is a good adventure for kids. Get them into cultivating. That's another thing. If you live in an apartment, nobody is going to tell you you can't build a small planter box and do a raised bed on your back patio or something, right? So you can grow you some vegetables in the summertime. I hope these 5 things that I've discussed today, I hope they help you out. I hope that you've gotten something out of this video, that it's going to help you in your transition. I hope you're still planning on transitioning to Maine. If you are, and I've provided any valuable content to you today, please leave a like or a comment down in the description. I do respond to all my comments. Until the next time, I want to thank you for watching. I'm Frank Atwood. Have a nice day.